God was so frustrated with Israel because they kept closing their eyes, they kept stopping their ears, they kept on turning away from him. Finally, he says, okay, I'm going to let you go your direction. I'm going to let you be blind. I'm going to let you be deaf. Even though you have ears, you won't use them. Even though you have eyes, you won't look through them. And so he called them blind and deaf. And it's go back and read David in the Psalms and Isaiah, and he has chastised them. He's called them back, just kept refusing overall. There were a few in every generation, calls them the remnant, especially from King Ahab's day. And now Paul is using that uh, historical fact to bring to the Roman Christian and even today the idea that God wants everyone to be saved, but He is also going to recognize your your desire and your faith above your effort to be perfect, because the only thing the law has done is shown us that we're transgressors. We've missed the mark. And the Jewish people who sought a righteousness of their own, I can be good enough. My obedience. I put all these tick marks in the check boxes. Thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. I put these tick marks in all these boxes, and so look how good I am. Of course I'll be saved because I've been obedient. And Paul's whole point is, really, you have not been obedient. You have done pretty well. That's not good. That's not pure. The only means of salvation, faith in Jesus Christ, not faith in your own abilities, not your track record, because your track record is imperfect. Only means of salvation is faith in Jesus and what Jesus has. He carries on here in chapter 11, verses 7 through 10. He says, what then? What Israel is seeking, it has not obtained. But those who were chosen obtained it, and the rest were hardened. Just as it is written, God gave them a spirit of stupor, eyes to see not, and ears to hear not, down to this very day. And David says, let their table become a snare and a trap, and a stumbling block, and retribution to them. Let their eyes be darkened, see not, and bend their backs forever. This ought to be a call to us. If it's nothing else, it's a call to us to make sure that our eyes are open, make sure that our ears are not stopped up, but that we want to know, we want to hear, God, what do you want from me? What do you want me to be? What do you want me to do? And he says, I want you to be holy. I want you to do righteousness. It's not difficult to understand, but it is impossible to accomplish without him. And to save us, here, he's not necessarily talking about individuals being chosen or given a spirit of stupidity, but the nation of Israel. In Peter's letter, his second letter, in fact, I've got it written here, it says, therefore, my brothers, be all the more eager to make your calling and election sure. Make your calling and election certain. For you do these things, you will not. You do these things. If you are making an effort to make your calling and election sure, and if you do these things, you will never fail. That is at the individual level. If God, from before the foundation of the world, chose you as an individual, like John Calvin in the 1500s, about 500 years ago, put forth this idea that God chooses those individuals who will be saved and those individuals will not be saved. Well, that's contrary to other scriptures, this one included. God chose you. Then how could you make that choosing more sure? That's not an option. So what Paul is saying in Romans chapters 9, 10, 11 is not God chooses who will be saved as an individual, and this individual. Not what Paul's saying there. But what he is challenging us is kind of what Peter says here, and Peter brings it to the individual level. Open your eyes, open your ears, listen and look and learn. Long to know the presence of Christ and the passion and the word, so that you can make your calling and election certain. And if you do these things, bless you. He loves you.